Okay, so this is your first instructional video welcoming you to Honors English 10 and the format of a modern classroom. You will be able to, by the end of this video, define what a modern classroom is if you're not familiar with it, and how we'll be working with it and what that looks like in Honors English 10 this year. So here's why we do this. Have you been in a class before, and I bet you have, where they're covering things that you already know, or you understand it more quickly than the people around you, but the teacher has to keep going over it because the people around you aren't getting it. And you're just bored because you want to move on and you know what to do. Or, on the other hand, the material's moving too fast, the teacher's going too fast, you missed it because you came in late because you had a dental appointment, or you missed it yesterday because you left early for a sport, and you are frustrated and overwhelmed, and you don't even know where to begin to ask your first question. So a modern classroom hopefully helps alleviate some of those frustrations you have. And here's how it does this. The teachers create instructional videos, so this is your first one, and that allows you to re-watch something that you need. That you didn't get the first time, you can rewind it and watch it again. Instead of you having to keep raising your hand, Miss E, Miss E, Miss E, what did you say, what did you say, what did you say? You can just watch it, and it goes faster for you, it's less stressful for you, and that allows me to help people who have questions that aren't addressed in a video and deal more with them on a one-on-one basis. Okay, that's the other advantage to that. I did that in a traditional classroom too, where I'd walk around and help people, but I can really focus it now because a lot of your questions that you have are just in the instruction, and you'll have that in the video. And then some of the fine details you have more questions on, I can get to you faster because I don't have 20 people ahead of you asking the same question. Okay, so it's more efficient use of our time, both on your end and my end. Different students will be working on different lessons at different times. That will become normal. That people are around you, you're not all moving forward at the same pace, which never made sense. And also the fact that you are at different places and doing different things, that's okay. That's what a modern classroom looks like. And then this last one, mastery checks. Students revise their work. If you haven't mastered it, you get a chance to fix it. So you'll take a mastery check and answer questions, and if you're not quite sure, I'll give you feedback, and then you can fix it to show me right away that you have mastered it before you move on to the next thing. Instead of doing a project that has 4 pieces, not really communicating with me, and I'm not clear that you don't know it, and you get to the end and you've done parts of it wrong. If you've ever had that happen, it's really frustrating, so this also helps eliminate that. There are 3 components to a modern classroom that I want to make sure you understand. The first one is the idea of blended instruction. Okay, every new lesson, instead of the teacher standing in front and lecturing to the whole class, you access it from a video that I have made. So this is the video teaching you about it, but then it will move to videos about the book we're reading, the writing we're doing, the film we're analyzing, whatever it is that we're doing. You will have an instructional video that kind of walks you through the different pieces of it. That allows it to be self-paced. As you can kind of see from this graphic, the different students are at different places. Somebody might be on lesson 3, and the person behind you might be on lesson 2, and the person in front of you might be on lesson 1. Because you're all working at different paces, you all have some target deadlines of when things are due, but you can pace yourself and kind of work ahead of that, or at least stay caught up with it at your own pace. And the last piece up here talks about the mastery, that you demonstrate that you understand it with mastery before you move on. Okay, and you do that through what's called mastery checks, which I'll talk about more in a second. So what does the daily routine in class look like? Once we are up and running, so we aren't starting with this yet, but I will hand out a small half sheet or a quarter sheet of paper and ask you to do this now, right when you walk in. And it's going to just ask for feedback, like, how are you doing today? What's happening? What lesson are you on? Do you have any questions for me? Just kind of individually touching base with you via a small check-in that I can quickly look through and know who I need to work with one-on-one, who's moving ahead, who's been absent and they know what to do, etc. You can see how that might be helpful. Within the lesson itself, during the hour, the class period, there'll be people watching videos and taking notes. You should be taking notes right now. You have an instructional packet. that it will be familiar to you as you start. And that's where you take your notes. You don't necessarily have to take them in a notebook or jot it down on the side of an assignment, a handout, or try to take a note on an electronic document of something we're doing. You have a packet with all of the content in it that you can keep referring to, take your notes, and show your demonstration of mastery in. That's also where you have some practice work. There might be some handouts as well. Maybe most of them are always going to be in the instructional packet, but that's where you practice. There might be a class activity that we work on that you take some notes on in your packet, or during class you might be working on that mastery check. And I'll talk more about that in a second as well. That's how class will operate on a daily basis. The things you need. You need your Chromebook. Please make sure it's charged. I will have chargers. We're at the end of the day for class, but you need to access Schoology for some of those materials, like the videos. Have headphones or your earbuds, wireless, whatever, plugged in at work. I, again, will have some in class for you to borrow, but you probably want to use your own. You need something to write with. I have a workstation here on my desk with supplies for you, but again, you might want something of your own to be writing things down in your packet. And have that packet with you. Hang on to it. I will have some folders in class if you want one, or I would encourage you to organize your materials for this class in some kind of folder or a binder so you can easily find and pull it out and work on it. You don't want to have 3/4 of it done and lose it. That would really suck. So that might help you to keep it organized in your backpack if you have a folder. As far as deadlines, target deadlines are posted on the objective calendar, which is the first page of the packet, and also in Schoology. That is your goal. That's your target. That's when you want to get these things done by on that calendar. The assignments must be completed by the end of the unit. That maybe is something that is not unfamiliar to you, getting everything done for the work before you're done with the unit. And again, that end date will be posted in Schoology. And then the pacing tracker, that will be a document, and I'll show you an example of it, that shows kind of where everyone is at. Here's one example. I may use this one. I may use a different one. I'm kind of playing around with it yet. But it will have your name. It's a public document that just shows here's the class. Here's where people are at. So here's the lessons. Some people have mastered it. Some people are revising it. Some people are moving on. Some people are right here. And it has the dates on the top. And it has the things that you must be doing and who's ahead and who's not. This will also allow you then to do work in partners or get help from someone besides me, because you'll know who's ahead and who's mastered it already and who's at that next point or that next piece of the assignment. So mastery checks. For each lesson, there is a mastery check for you to show me what you know. Those will be graded formatively. But because you're self-pacing, I still need to touch base with you and know that you are proficient at a mastery level, that you know what's going on to move on to the next piece. So I know you have a handle on what we're doing. Those are independent, they're silent, they're on paper, and I'll have a set of desks designed for that. You will come up, ask me for the mastery check, tell me you're done. You will sit in this desk over here next to me, take it and give it to me, and I will need probably a 24-hour time period to get that back to you at least the next day and say, here, yes, you are done, move on to the next one, or you need to revise it. And you will follow those mastery checks by the target dates that are on your instructional packet on that first page on your calendar. And again, if you pass, you move on to the next one. If you don't, you get a chance to ask questions, review something in your packet if you didn't finish it and just wanted some more help, and then show me that you've mastered it. A common piece that should be familiar to you are summative assessments. At the end of the unit, we will have a summative. Okay, it could be writing, it could be speaking, it could be a multiple choice kind of thing, it could be a project, something you're creating. Most of your grade is determined by the skill that you demonstrate on this summative assessment. So you want to have your formative work done, you want to have your packet done, and be in a good place to be successful on this summative. Okay, so just to review quickly, Modern Classroom, class where teachers use videos instead of lectures. You move at your own pace, get the help you need when you need it, and then you move on to the next piece, the next lesson, after showing mastery of the content. So I hope that's been helpful. Good luck on your packet.